It began as though it were a fairy tale. The most talked about rookie since Candace Parker, Angel Reese, was on his way to the Windy City after leaving a championship legacy. The announcement was literally dropped with pyrotechnics in the Chicago sky. The rollout from welcoming billboards to airport welcomes was an absolute spectacle. Their golden girl was this one, the franchise's future, or so it appeared. However, there was more going on behind the Instagram lives and flashbulbs. Rumors began to swirl just 3 weeks into her first season, an absence from the media. Courtside cameras captured a heated discussion. Supporters thought it was a poor day or newbie jitters. However, according to insiders, it was more. An unidentified former Sky employee claimed that Angel Reese's contract went beyond typical rookie terms. According to the source, there were unwritten regulations regarding how Angel should present herself, including what to wear to press, what to avoid in interviews, and when not to tweet. These rules were buried deep in the tiny print and included provisions about social media behavior, off-court connections, and even image guidelines. According to the insider, they wanted the image, but not the oral cavity, not the character. Instead of the actual female, they desired a brand. And the brand blackout followed. Angel had just hinted at a significant partnership with a streetwear company renowned for its boisterous, unrepentant spirit. The supporters were excited. Even NBA players were using fire emojis in their comments. However, nothing happened after that. The decline did not occur. Not even a post about cancellation, simply disappeared. Funny how support feels like silence when it's time to speak up, Angel wrote in an ambiguous comment on her story a few days later. Fans took note. Twitter went into detective mode. Then, a set of purportedly internal emails exchanged by Sky executives about how to redirect Reese's marketing energy toward league-safe brands were leaked. According to one email, "She's too hot to handle. Either we cool the brand or we run the risk of upper management." Retaliation. It's still unclear to whom exactly up top was referring. But the message was clear. Someone didn't want Angel Reese to start her own business too quickly, and this went beyond tweets and clothing. According to several allegations, Angel's media schedule was being carefully managed. Fans questioned why, during her time at LSU, she wasn't showing up on several platforms that had pleaded for an interview. In college, she was the talk of the press. She was now absent from important post-game discussions. The Angel we're getting isn't the Angel we were promised, a journalist said in a mysterious post at that point, when Angel herself liked to tweet. That said, crazy how quick they love you until you stop smiling for them. Things truly took a turn for the better. It wasn't overt, simple to overlook, but her admirers did not, because it validated what many people already suspected: something wasn't right. After a now viral video showed Angel leaving a timeout huddle with an obviously irritated expression and mouthing the words, "This is some bulls." Speculations grew more intense. While analysts dismissed it as competitive fervor, previous teammates noticed something else. On a podcast, a former NBA player stated, "That's not a rookie losing her temper. That rookie has realized that her voice isn't important just yet, and she is dying as a result." But the last straw occurred at a press conference after the game. Angel smiled tightly and responded, "I'm just here to do my job," when questioned about her contribution to the team's offensive strategy. Her comments struck like a ton of bricks. The same Angel who earlier declared, "I'm a presence, not just a player," was suddenly following the most fundamental, "Idia-safe" line. Clips that contrasted her ferocious college interviews with her subdued WNBA soundbites quickly went viral on TikTok. The league was tagged by fans requesting openness. Even sports publications started to inquire, has Angel Reese been muffled by the NBA? No formal announcement from the skies has been made yet. No denial, no explanation. Nothing but quiet. However, A leak then surfaced on the blogs. A copy of Angel's purported contract that had been redacted appeared. Although a complete verification was not possible, one clause caught our attention. Language pertaining to league-approved appearances, brand, alignment evaluations, and personality guidance procedures was contained in a section titled Image Maintenance Agreement. It wasn't merely a contract. To put it briefly, it was a screenplay. And if it was accurate, implied that Angel Reese was receiving more than simply guidance. They were managing her hefty lie. Nevertheless, the question of why sin it lingered in the air like smoke before a fire. Why would a person like Angel Reese, who is renowned for her resistance, bravery, and authenticity, consent to conditions that would stifle everything that initially made her famous? Well, that response becomes much more untidy because we will reveal the purported pressure campaign that took place prior to the deal being signed in part. 2. Angel might have been pushed into an awkward situation, and it might have been made possible by someone close to her. The wheels started turning even before the ink touched paper, and the first headline cried out, "Angel Reese signs with the Chicago Sky." Insiders claim that what appeared to be a match made in heaven, a rising celebrity and a community desperate for a rebirth, was actually a chess match. And the pieces weren't moved by Angel. The team wasn't the source of the pressure. It began at home long before the offer was made public. According to people close to Angel's group, she had severe reservations about it. She reportedly voiced worries about media narratives, brand control, and the desire of too many hands to dictate her voice. However, someone close to her continued to press, someone fans would never suspect. The insider allegedly informed her, "This is your moment. This kind of buzz won't come around again. Don't give them the impression that you're challenging." Was it a friend, a relative, a supervisor? Although no names have been revealed, texts purportedly from Angel's close circle were posted online revealing a disagreement between her and a trusted person. "You think they care about your power if you don't play ball?" was one of the messages. "Before your rookie season is up, you will be blackballed." "This isn't college anymore," someone else remarked. "Give up trying to be in charge." Fans were taken aback. These weren't encouraging messages. They served as cautions, dangers, manipulation in the pretense of mentoring. And if authentic, they showed something more profound. Angel Reese wasn't merely surviving a challenging league. Behind the scenes, she was battling her own team. Weeks before to the signing, the pressure increased. Several counselors allegedly informed her that the WNBA was not ready for a rebel, that having too much personality may kill longevity, and that to be marketable, she needed to keep quiet, off the court, playing the game. And maybe the chillest, someone claiming to be associated in player development leaked a voicemail. The voice says in it, "We adore her appearance. We adore her edge. She must, however, learn when to turn it down. She will need to have faith in us if she hopes to survive." In other words, they weren't interested in her. They desired her image. A close insider claims that Angel almost backed out of the agreement completely. Other offers were made. Tension from well-known teams even discussed moving abroad to grow away of the spotlight. However, the strain mounted each time she faltered. Additional hacked texts reveal a pattern: backhanded advice, subtle guilt-tripping, and repeated reminders that everyone's watching, so don't mess it up. "If you say no now, you'll never get this kind of setup again," is one particularly unsettling line. Avoid being the overly talkative black girl who spoils the bag. Fans were incredulous. According to reports, the same woman who was praised for speaking up and for standing up was being coerced into complying by those she trusted, by mechanisms that silently drafted plans to destroy her audacity while feigning to celebrate it. Once presented as a chance to change one's life, now appeared to be a trap. One based on deception but created in handshakes and smiles. Is the twist that goes viral the most, possibly from her own legal counsel. The provisions pertaining to image and brand control. were deemed deeply unusual for a novice by an impartial attorney who examined the leaked contract. Not against the law, but obviously biased more toward preserving the team and its alliances than the players' independence, according to her. This type of clause isn't common unless a player has already had controversies. However, Angel, confidence is the only controversy she has. What then were they defending themselves against? Angel Reese's official camp declined to comment when this was all going on. Her social media staff remained remarkably silent. No denials, no justifications, just quiet and well-written posts, but in private. It was bubbling over, according to insiders. A reporter was supposedly informed by an unnamed teammate that Angel had checked out, not in play, but in spirit. They said she's not her, but she's still balling. None of us can see the line she's treading. Angel had started recording discussions, according to hints from the same teammate. Recording her experiences, she won't leave like that, they said. She's too intelligent. And the theory began at that point. What if Angel knew she would be confined by the contract when she signed it? What if her intention was to follow the rules, just long enough to reveal them? Fans began rewatching her press conferences, games, and even her private moments. They observed small facial expressions. She waits before responding to inquiries. Ambiguous, cryptic terminology. How to smile when everything inside you says don't. She responded in one interview when asked what she had learned most during her debut season. It was a line that went viral, and the story abruptly changed. The victim was not Angel Reese in disguise. She was a revolutionary dot. And if that were the case, then all we believed to be true about this pact was actually a prelude to something much more significant. You'll learn exactly what she might be plotting in part 3. Because it's possible that Angel Reese isn't actually contained. Actually, she may be poised to reveal all, and this guy in Chicago may come to regret ever attempting to dull her brilliance. The quiet was short-lived. When it's Angel Reese, it never does. Angel appeared at a press conference wearing a shirt that stated, "I am not your storyline," just days after the purported leaks, mysterious messages, and behind-the-scenes rumors went viral online. She gave no explanation. She was not required to. She was done playing the game on anyone else's terms. And that was the unmistakable message. And the trap she had been secretly constructing suddenly closed. The media continued to demand answers, because they were hungry for more. But Angel changed the story instead of responding. She began wearing clothing from black-owned brands when she went to interviews, not the sponsors authorized by the league. Her captions became more incisive, less refined, more intimate. Then she took the unimaginable action. She took a seat for a private one-on-one interview. Not with ESPN, not with the press handler for the team, but with an independent reporter who has a reputation for uncovering the exploitation of athletes. There was no live stream of the interview. It was not ostentatious. It was uncoked, and Angel Reese was honest in it. Gazing directly into the camera, she stated, "I needed access, which is why I signed that contract." But what did I discover later? That the performance, not the individual, was what they desired. She claimed that negotiations were redirected behind her back and that she was instructed on how to talk, when to smile, and even what tone of voice made her more likable. Even after she cleared her own calendar, she was unable to get interviews because they were lost in scheduling. She stated they didn't want Angel Reese. They desired what Angel Reese stands for, and they made a mistake there. As I'm not available for rent, at midnight, the video was released. It got more than 10 million views by 8 a.m. And the dominoes began to fall at that point. An unnamed team intern revealed that management had been apprehensive about Angel from the beginning. The intern stated in a since-deleted article that they wanted the clicks, not the culture. She was too noticeable. To make her more controllable, they attempted to make her smaller. The league. Quiet. The group. Hurrying. Angel, though, calculating. Her representatives made a significant media announcement just hours after the interview. Angel had secured a new distribution agreement for a forthcoming documentary series that would exclusively follow her journey from college to the professional ranks. Apparently, months had passed while the project was being developed, and now for the twist. Production insiders said that the cameras had been rolling the whole time. Instruction, discussions, the meetings for contracts. The scenes that were removed, the malfunctions. Everything. Fans were blown away. It was a counterattack rather than merely a retort. Angel had not been confined to a box. She had made a stage out of the box, and she was going to use her platform, her footage, and her own style to tell the narrative. And it continued from there. Angel started openly defending other players who had been shut out, sharing tales on how to preserve your voice while advancing your career, interacting with younger athletes, and reposting quotes. Her impact extended outside of the court. All of a sudden, a contract was irrelevant. There was a movement involved, and the Chicago Sky front office saw internal blowback in the midst of it. In an emergency staff meeting audio that was obtained by a source, officials debated how to handle the Reese blowback. One speaker could be heard saying, "We underestimated her reach. We are now paying the price because she is uncontrollable." In response, someone else said, "We didn't sign a player. A revolution was signed by us." The leak spread widely. Angel's words were widely shared on the team's official pages by fans. The hashtag #NotYourStoryline was first used by teenage athletes. Influencers were quick to join. Even retired NBA players started to suggest that it was time to rewrite how this league treats its stars. And podcasts even started miniseries centered around the Angel contract. However, Angel maintained her composure as the internet erupted. She continued to play, continued to appear, continued to win. And, "Thank you for hearing me," was the final words of every postgame interview. The last twist then appeared. The documentary trailer was released. Angel Reese is shown in 2 minutes of behind-the-scenes video declining offers, objecting in meetings, sobbing by herself in hotel rooms, and then smiling. For herself, not for the cameras. The last frame. Her seated before a contract. Holding a pen. However, rather than signing, she says, staring straight at the lens, "Some bargains aren't worth the price." It's exploded on the internet and the Sky in Chicago. Regarding supporting player autonomy and expression, they released a nebulous statement. Insufficient. Too late. Since Angel Reese no longer need their consent, the playbook had been altered by her, and for everyone who is observing, she demonstrated unequivocally that a storm cannot be silenced. All you can do is try to make it through. What began as a party turned into a public event. What appeared to be a contract was actually a cage, as well as Angel Reese. She broke through. Rather than just breaking out, Angel Reese didn't simply play the game. She also engaged in other actions, such as whispered clauses, media silence, leaks, betrayal, and a documentary series that completely changed the story. She revealed it. And in doing so, she became into a movement rather than just a player. This was no longer about basketball. It had to do with power, voice, and what occurs when a woman who is aware of her identity is undervalued by the system. They believed they could make her glow less bright instead. She made them the center of attention. However, the question still stands. What is the number of other stars entangled in the same web? How many rookie contracts are silently signed despite being adorned with glitter? And now that Angel Reese has refused to drop her voice, how many more will rise? Tell us what you think. Was Angel's plan always this way? Was it too much for the team? Is this a one-time event or the start of a more significant change in the balance of power in sports? Now leave your ideas in the comments. If Angel's tale touched you deeply, hit the like button. Also, be sure to subscribe for more breaking news, in-depth analysis, and truth bombs that the media won't reveal. Because basketball isn't the only topic here. This has to do with control. What occurs when the wrong individual signs the right contract only to change the terms later? Angel Reese has given up waiting to be heard. And after this, nobody else will.